Digital currency is exactly what it sounds like. There's never any exchange of actual coinage or paper. Everyone just changes the numbers in their accounts. I mean, we do this now with credit cards and electronic payments and even direct deposit. We never exchange any cash. We just change the numbers on our machines. And as long as we're all doing that with some kind of honesty and fairness, then we pretend there's money there. Digital currency, however, takes this all a giant leap forward. It's a cashless globe. All purchases, payments, and credits take place on computers. Right now, as I'm saying this, 114 countries are exploring digital currencies. India and Nigeria already have it. The United States is studying it, also, of course, with the idea of one day soon implementing one. We know America will have one sooner rather than later. 2/3 of central banks say they would issue a digital currency within 10 years. In April, 3 months ago, the Fed announced that it will introduce FedNow, a central bank digital currency, CBDC, in July, which is this month. It will initially be limited to interbank transactions, but after a period of beta testing, it will expand. On the same theme, the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, is pushing a global central bank digital currency platform so that all countries would use this. The benefits, so say the fat cat global elites, is to be more efficient and more fair in transactions, to lower costs and give people greater access to their money. They talk about interoperability, connecting countries, connecting financial institutions, connecting people, like Venmo, like PayPal. The potential problems, however, are far more grave. First of all, it allows the government to accumulate an inordinate amount of data on you. Secondly, the government can therefore control all of your money. There's no limit to the amount of control the government could exert over people if all money is digital and is controlled directly by the government. For instance, in Nigeria right now, the government limits cash withdrawals to $45 a day. That's just something they could do. So, therefore, it puts the government in total control. In a word, tyranny. It's also, there's a lack of privacy. There's no more personal security. It allows the tracking of purchases, even allowing, forcing, or stopping purchases, which means it's the total weaponization of money. Tulsi Gabbard says, a cashless society is a society of surveillance, where every transaction is tracked, monitored, and controlled by a few powerful entities that have the ability to freeze your accounts. For instance, in Canada, remember the Freedom Convoy through Canada that was not too long ago? The government froze as many as 257 bank accounts of the protesters to prevent them from making the necessary purchases, and therefore it ended the protest. The government controlled their money. Another example, hopefully more extreme, a woman said that the FBI seized her life savings. Never said why, never charged her with anything. Her money was just deleted. Centralized digital currency will allow the federal government to freeze your assets or limit your spending if you don't agree with certain metrics, such as, let's pull a few examples out, vaccine mandates, climate change, critical race theory, and their definition of equity, your stance on LGBT inclusion, or even limiting how much money you can spend in any one place at any one time for any particular item. See, in such a scenario, my mind goes to Revelation 13:17 and the mark of the beast. The verse reads, quote, so that no one could buy or sell unless he had the mark, which is the name of the beast or his number, or the number of his name, unquote. Now, I'm not claiming that CBDC is necessarily the mark of the beast. What I'm saying is that clearly it is taking us in this direction and easily allowing the possibility. Such an actuality is more than easily imaginable. Within a few years, it'll be a global fact. And if you don't conform, you may not be able to buy or sell. You may not be able to get a job. You may have all your assets frozen or, worse yet, deleted. In Revelation 13:18, of course, there have been an almost endless number of guesses as to what 666 represents and who it stands for or what it stands for. But not as much emphasis is placed on the previous phrase, for it is the number of humanity. It is how the enemy of God, national and global, exerts their power, forcing compliance. So, you may wonder, does what I'm saying, if I'm at all close to right, that if you comply with digital currency, you're worshiping the beast? No, that's not what I'm saying. We have to read the whole text. First, it is following the beast and the worship of the beast that is sacrilegious, not using electronic payments. In previous videos, I have identified America as the whore of Babylon, LGBT as the Antichrist, and pride as her church. LGBT is the blasphemous idolatry of this age. Almost all the persecution of Christians here is at the hands of the LGBT agenda, and I have done a video on that in the past called Are Christians Being Persecuted? Now, Revelation 13 has a second beast. That second beast hasn't emerged yet, though the apostate church is preparing the way, and it could even be the apostate church as the false prophet, the parody of Christ, fully complicit with the actions of the Antichrist LGBT. The blasphemy is not in using digital currency, but instead in worshiping the beast, in swearing fealty to the beast. Now, it's possible that the two will be combined, CBDC and LGBT, meaning you can't use the system unless you have a certain DEI score, diversity, equity, and inclusion. But we're not seeing that just yet. Until then, as always, we continue to watch for the signs and connect the dots. Our task is to be faithful to Christ in all things.